why use earthing patches over any other earthing system or earthing practice? It's a great way to get the earthing benefits when inside, because it's addressing two of the challenges of earthing, which is basically getting access to the electrons of the earth and then delivering them to your body in an efficient and effective manner. The challenge with earthing is transferring as many electrons to your body as quickly as possible, and that's what the patches do. They basically serve as like a fire hose of anti-inflammatory and recovering benefits to your arms or your back or your neck where you're feeling pain after a long day. The ground rod, this 4-foot ground rod that I have in this system, gets deep down into the moisture of the earth, lots of surface area with the earth to capture those electrons, and then it delivers them to the electrode patches, which have been used in the medical industry for decades now. In this video, basically show how I've made my own earthing patch kit system, and this is basically like the chain of the system. Starts with a ground rod out your window into the ground, and I bought a 4-foot ground rod. Costs about 20 bucks. That's the most expensive part. You could go with or without that. If you go without that, it's a $30 system. With that, it's a $50 system. And that's gonna be basically dependent on where you're plugging your wire into the ground and how moist it is gonna be when you're using it. And the deeper you go, the more access you're gonna get to electron flow and moisture, and that's to your benefit. So I opted for a ground rod in this kit, and you'll see how I've done that. Here is the ground rod that I ordered. It's a $20 ground rod. It's got these 2 notches in it that hold this clamp in place. And the goal here is to get this 1/4-inch audio adapter to be able to fit into that slot right there. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow ourselves to remove this clamp, and now we're gonna modify the clamp. So here's our 1/4-inch adapter, and we're trying to get that to fit in that slot right there. So we're just going to expand the length of this oval on both sides. And to do so, you could simply use a circular file, which would take a little bit more time. Just get it in there and just expand it on both those ends. But for purposes of demonstration, I'm going to use a Dremel, and the Dremel tip that I'm using, which is a circular carbide bit that works really, really well. I've had this for years. Slide this on, slide this in, and that's what we're looking for right there. So that is going to be our attachment point. So here you can see where I passed the wire out my 2nd-story window in my living room, and it runs down the wall to the foundation where we got access to some soil right here. There we have the stake in the ground sticking out about 2 feet, so it's 2 feet in and 2 feet out. So we fit the clamp on, and we rest it on this this little notch right here, and then we slide the 1/4-inch into the 1/4-inch rest on the shoulder of the rod like we see there. And now we're just going to tighten this into place. And now we take our .25-foot wire, and we're just going to plug that in. 25-foot wire that basically gets you from the ground up through your window into where you're going to be using it, and then it branches off from that 3.5 millimeter audio wire into these lead wires, which basically then plug into your patches. So it converts from the 3.5 into these 4 different millimeter pins, which is like the standard for the most part with electrode patches. So here's what the lead wire looks like. I got a multi-pack, and so this looks like about 5 feet long, 4 or 5 feet long. You got the mono 3.5 millimeter auxiliary looking plug there, and then it converts into 4 2 millimeter pins. And then those are what is going to connect into your patches. So I got like a 20 pack of patches. Every 4 comes on this little plastic laminate, and it basically has a wire going into like a carbon material that's then coated in like a conductive gel that allows it to stick to your body. So that's basically the system. 5 different components. This one is optional if you're trying to keep it a little bit cheaper. And so just to kind of walk you through it, this is the window where I pass the wire through my interior to my exterior. I conveniently had this hole in the screen right there, but if you didn't have that, you can go around the side of the screen. There's always like a little bit of play around the side. You can wrap the wire around the side or under. It's a pretty skinny wire. So that is where it's coming in, and then that basically routes over to my evening relaxation station. And what I would typically do is get to the end of this wire, and I would unravel my leads, plug that into this wire, and then what I've done is just hook this up and plugging that in. There's like 2 sets of wires, so I always try to match them up. Boom. There's no wrong way to hook this up, but that's pretty much it. For me, I've just been, for convenience sake, just putting it like at the core of my body because it's really easy to attach them. They don't get in the way, but sometimes I'll put them on my arms or my neck or my back when those are exceptionally sore. For me, I use it like 20 minutes a day in the evening when I sit down and watch some entertainment or eat some dinner. And 20 minutes is usually the minimum target that I think people should shoot for. It allows it to, like, your blood to circulate past that zone, and then electrons to then get delivered to that blood supply, allowing it to spread the anti-inflammatory benefits throughout your body. But that's the basic idea. I know people commonly ask, like, what about using earthing systems or grounding in lightning and thunderstorms? And it's basically, the way I pose it to them is just like, if there's lightning in the area, are you gonna be outside like barefoot? No. So just think of it like you're outside like barefoot. You only do it when there's not lightning around in your vicinity, and you'll be fine. But that's the basic idea, just a really effective way of getting the earthing electron benefits into your body and delivered to areas that could really use that anti-inflammatory benefit. So if you guys make a kit or have experience with a kit, let us know what you think about this earthing modality. We would love to hear your experience because based on my experience so far, I feel like it's a pretty remarkable way to go about earthing, and something that I feel like a lot of people are gonna feel those benefits, and I would just love to hear what other people's experience are. So let us know. Thank you.